look at that. There's two people again.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! Kind of got that juice. As soon as we hit the live button, it's like, oh, we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're doing it. We're back. Ah! It's been so long. It really hasn't been. I missed 2 shows.
Yeah. That was it.
Like 2 shows, and it's felt like years. How do we do this again? Teach me how to podcast. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have
Mike
you back
Reeves.
on the show.
Mike Reeves been in the watch party. I started a watch party on my phone because I know how to do that now.
Nice.
Mike Reeves from Twist, the Week in Sports Talk, as I found out back in the day. Yeah, he says hi. Make sure you go check them out. So, since we're back, we're both back. Derf and Dylan on and off the field here live. I don't even think I said it's on and off the field. Yeah, this is on and off the field with Derf and Dylan. Yeah, see? We're just rusty. We're already off the rails. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm doing. Derf, how are you after that long last week and with everything going on? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, it was a nice long weekend. Good to recuperate from the busyness of the last week, but it was good. I'm doing good. How about you, Dylan? Nice, glad to be back, or still wishing you were down there?
I mean, you know, you have to come back eventually. And, you know, I'm glad to be home. I'm glad to be back. Mm-hmm. I'm not too psyched about, like, having to go to work and, like, restart real life again. That I'm not thrilled about. But that's just kind of that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
And in roughly, let's see here. Let me get an exact date for everybody real quick. Mm-hmm. On September 22nd, I'll give the details of my vacation because that's 2 weeks.
There you go.
Suck on that, King Cuomo.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Yeah, so in 2 weeks, everyone, I'll tell the story of my vacation. It's on the calendar. We'll talk about it. Suck on that. All right. So, as tradition goes, Derf, tell everybody where they can follow, like, subscribe, share, do all of that.
Yeah, you can follow, like, and share on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel at On and Off the Field. Make sure to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts so we know how we're doing and what you like or dislike about the show. And you can find all of these links at onandoffthefield.com, along with our fundraising efforts and to learn more about Dylan, myself, and the show.
Yeah. I'm going to keep that up there because we need more shares. Get that stuff out there. Hit that share button. It's not too awkward. I mean, you just hit the share button, you share it to your timeline, and, you know, some people might see it and they're like, hey, that looks like fun. Let me follow those guys. And we really appreciate that to every extent possible. So, much appreciated for any shares, any follows, any likes. Speaking of following and liking things, just started the On and Off the Field gaming page. OOTF Gaming is the new page. I put one video on there, just kind of like introductory video about you know what we're going to be doing on the page. You know, play a couple games here, play a couple games there. It's not really like I'm not just going to jump on there and be like, hey, we're playing Call of Duty all day long. We're playing. That's really the only game I play all day long. But I'm just not just gonna be like one game. You know,
right?
There's like plans to do RuneScape, old school RuneScape. Some plans to do maybe World of Warcraft at some point. Couple of just things, you know, whatever comes to mind. A lot of Dota 2 and Dota Underlords because those are my favorites. If I can figure out how to stream like Nintendo 64 games or like Super Mario, I'm 100% doing that. 100%. Just have to figure out how.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think there's not an official podcast for it. It's just a page for gaming, for live streaming games. I've always wanted to do a gaming page, so here we are. This is what we're doing. Another page to follow is the OOTF family group page where you can post your memes and your questions and everything. It's a group page. You can put whatever you want in that group page. But make sure you're following that because also that's where our fantasy football On off the field fantasy football league trash talk's going to be a lot of that going on. I'll post some updates in our normal on and off the field page, but a lot of it will be going on in the group page if you want to be in it on that. And then last but not least, the merchandise. Yeah, the merchandise is there. Promo code OOTF, 10% off your purchase at checkout. I bring that up specifically because since I'm home now, I got to check my mail. We got the stickers in. Boom!
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Stickers for days. We got black ones.
Yeah.
And we got white ones.
Nice.
Dope stickers.
Oh, yeah.
And you can also get like t-shirts and stuff too. All kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of stuff. So, yeah. So make sure you go and do all that. Really appreciate all the love. Actually, Jim Daly has joined the watch party.
Oh, nice.
Jim Daly in the house. What's going on, Jimbo? Used to be my boss back in the day.
Yeah.
Good old Jimmy. All right. Is he still? No, he's not. Where is Jim still working at the old Weggers?
Yeah, just not what he was doing when you left.
Oh, okay. That's good. Everyone needs to move on from that eventually.
Oh, yeah.
That's not that. All right. Well, since we have Jim in the house, as long as he's here, let's move on to the net. Hey, Keys Dan joining the show, giving some likes. All right. Let's jump into something I've been very excited to say for the past week. I'm very excited for this. Something that I've really been building up to. The other sport!
Yeah.
It wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. Because I forgot how much I hate that. Everyone's joining the watch party. This is an issue. Everyone's joining the watch party. Join the actual. I guess that's the downside of the watch party.
Yeah.
Because people have been joining.
Are you getting comments there? Because I don't see any of them.
Yeah, just from Mike's the only comment, but other people are watching the live stream or the watch party. I don't know if we get the views from the watch party.
Yeah, I don't
on
know.
Our page. So it's kind of a downside. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out after the show because I don't see the comments either. Yeah, we don't see Mike's comment up here.
Right.
It's the nature of the beast. But
oh yeah,
let's do the other sports, Fred. Let's do it.
Yeah.
NBA. I watched this one. This is about the only sports I watched for the past week, actually.
Yeah.
Besides tennis, I watched some tennis.
Oh, nice.
Some women's tennis.
Oh yeah.
And some unranked lady from the U.S. beat the number 6 ranked person. And it was really awesome in extra sets.
Oh, there you go.
Super exciting. I never bet into tennis, but that was cool.
That's cool.
NBA. The Miami Heat almost swept the Bucks, but they went into OT. Giannis, Greek Freak, went out at halftime, ankle sprain, and he didn't come back, but Chris Middleton took over with an epic third quarter. Terrible fourth quarter, and then the Bucks as a total just did enough in overtime to beat the Miami Heat to avoid the sweep, 118-115. And now it's official. Giannis will not play tonight.
Tonight, right now.
Yeah. Right now. Oh my God, it's right now.
They started at 6:30.
Oh God. Okay. Well, we'll get an update on that here in a minute. We'll keep you updated throughout the show, just in case you're watching this and not that. Like you're giving up Miami Heat Bucks to watch us. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
But without knowing the score right now, I mean, does it end tonight for the Bucks? Because from what I saw, the Bucks were better without Giannis, and it kind of seemed like the Heat had a game plan to handle the Greek Freak.
Right,
you know, like the Heat were ready for him. They had a defense lined out where like, all right, stop him, and we're gonna win. And he went out, and they didn't have a backup game plan. They were like, oh, who do we defend? What do we do now?
Right. Yeah.
They seemed confused, and then they end up losing the game. So is that going to be a trend, or they go and fix things? Jimmy Butler takes over, series over.
I think they fix things. I think this is going to be the fact that they have an entire game. They can have an entire plan for the game now because Giannis isn't like there for part of the game and leaves. Like obviously the Miami Heat probably just don't adjust in game. Like they're a good from game to game, but not so much adjusting in the game. So I think that Miami Heat probably have a game plan tonight because they probably know more than what we know and how Giannis is doing for injury-wise, whether he's going to be ruled out or not, because it seems like maybe some media doesn't leak out as fast down there as it does in other sports. But I think the Heat get done tonight in Game 5.
Yeah, they were 7-0.
Yeah, that was impressive. They were wrecking teams.
I mean, I wanted to know if that was ever been done. If they would have swept the Bucks, if anyone's ever swept, I'm sure that's probably happened.
Yeah, it's probably happened. It's probably been a while.
Mike Reeves from Twist says series is over tonight. I agree.
Oh, yeah,
because they I don't even think it took them. They should have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
They should have won Game 4.
Yep.
But because they shut down Chris Middleton in the fourth quarter, but the offense couldn't quite turn it on for some reason.
Yep.
It really only took them a quarter to figure out Chris Middleton. And if the offense was there, they would have won, but whatever reason, and then some people blame the refs because it was a bullcrap foul that ended up tying the game with free throws.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think it's a blowout. I don't know what the score is right now. I don't think the Bucks stand a chance. Yeah, they just whatever they did in the fourth quarter, they do for 4 quarters, and it's over. But who will they go on to play is the question, and that's our next one is the Celtics.
Oh yeah,
your Celtics.
Oh yeah,
decided to put on a clinic against the Raptors in Game 5, 111-89 was the final score. Whoo! And that was Game 5. Yep, Game 5.
Yeah.
So they're up 3-2 on the series now with a chance to end it tomorrow night in Game 6.
Yep, and Game 6 tomorrow, Wednesday night. Yep.
So did you watch this game? Do you have an opinion? Do you think this is over?
I didn't watch this game. I kept an eye on it as it was getting closer, and I was like, oh, they finally got their head out of you-know-whats and decided to play because Game 3 through Game 3 and 4, it just looked like the Celtics were just kind of cruising. They were coasting. They're gassed a little bit, and I feel like that's probably another team that we're going to my feelings towards another team that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. With the kind of only one day off at a time, the way the series are breaking down to kind of crunch everything together. But the fact that the Celtics kind of sat down, put their foot down, and kind of just put that kind of score up together yesterday, I think they get it done tomorrow night. And so I'm thinking Heat and Celtics, and I think that's going to be a 7-game series without a question.
We'd like to think it's a 7-game series because we want to watch 7 games of that.
Yeah, no, those two teams are even in the regular season, those are close games. They're very back and forth for the series.
And while we're on the topic for the East, at least, no one expected this from the Heat. At least a minority of people expected this from the Heat. This is crazy.
Yeah.
It kind of came out of nowhere with guys like Tyler Hero and I think there's a guy named Robinson on there. They're just weird people.
Right.
And they're shooters. It's like the poor man's Golden State Warriors, but not that poor. These guys are great shooters when they turn it on. They're not as consistent as as Clay or Steph from the Warriors, but if they're accurate for that night, I mean, these guys are going 5 of 6, 7 of 8, whatever from 3-point range. They're killing it.
Yeah.
So the Heat have that, and the Celtics just have. I don't know how they accumulated this much talent, and how they're still not as great as people. People still don't respect the Celtics as much as I think, but they've somehow accumulated this talent. And when they put it together, they're amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's 2 amazing teams, and I'm so glad. Well, pump the brakes. I really, really hope these are who we get for the East. One last piece while we're on the East is Giannis in a Bucks uniform next season.
Is he a free agent next year?
Yeah, he has the option to leave, I think. I don't know if he's a free agent. Yeah, I think there might be an option or something, but a lot of people have been speculating if he'll be there next season, which makes me assume his initial contract here is up.
I think he leaves. I don't think he sticks around in Milwaukee. Another players are going to talk him into it, and he's going to try and join a super team. Like, who knows? He'll probably end up going to the Lakers or the Clippers, and he's going to want to get those rings. I mean, I don't think maybe he'll prove me wrong. Maybe he has the hometown support there that he wants to stay there and help Milwaukee win, but I just don't see it.
I don't. Yeah, maybe he has that hometown spirit. I highly doubt it because he hasn't. What does he have in Milwaukee? He's a guy from overseas. He doesn't really have he was drafted there. That was it. Welcome to Milwaukee. There you go. Now I'm leaving. A lot of people have been saying he'll look good in a Toronto jersey. I think he's going to look real good in purple and gold. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I do have a quick Bucks update.
Let's do it.
Heat.
Yeah, let's hear it.
End of the first quarter. Milwaukee is up 28-19.
Oh, wow.
So the Bucks are a little.
Who's scoring? What's the box score? Who's our leading scorers?
Let me pull up the box score here.
We should have that playing in the background of our show.
Looks like Chris Middleton with 9 points right now in the first quarter, whereas looks like Jimmy Butler and Adebayo, I don't know how to say the last name, then Jamison Crowder that's what his last name. Yeah, they're each about 4 or 5 points apiece, so it's more spread out for the Heat, but so hopefully that kind of plays out for them later in the game.
Middleton still leading the way. Interesting.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to do it for 4 quarters.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know if he'll be able to.
Mm-hmm.
He played the most minutes of his career, I believe, in Game 4.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure he's getting gassed. He might be able to put it on for 2 games. We'll see what happens. But all right, let's move out to the West. We have the Rockets and the Lakers have split the series here so far. Are they 1-1 right now in that series?
Yeah, 1-1.
And it's just, here's my problem that I always have with both the Rockets and the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, and it happens so fast. The Lakers have a bad game, and it's, LeBron and AD aren't enough. They have offensive problems. They don't have a third person. They're never going to make it with this offense shooting like 40% for a game. And then they win because LeBron and AD have like a really good game. And everyone's like, oh, they fixed it. LeBron's here. It's all good from here on out. They're going to win the chip. It's over.
Yeah.
You can't just switch, all right? You have to be like, oh, yes, they have issues. That's why it shows up every once in a while, and you have to stick with it. You have to stick with, yes, they have issues, which is my standpoint. They don't have a third person. Just because LeBron and AD go off for a game and they get the win, that doesn't fix your problems. That just means they had a really good game, and it probably won't win them. Probably won't even win them this series. We'll see what happens. But it's the same thing with the Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Harden and Westbrook aren't enough. There's not enough on that team, or they don't share the ball well enough. Or if Harden's off, he's shooting like 3 for 21.
Right? Yeah, it's bad
like that. And then and they want to talk down about him, but then they have a great game where Harden's just dropping everything. He'll go out and have a 40, 50-point game, and we're good. Harden's good. He's back. He's just gonna drop 50 for the rest of the series, and the Rockets are gonna win. That's sports media for you. That's in a nutshell. That's sports media.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because God forbid the Lakers have a bad game, and then they have a good game, but people stick with the story that they had from the bad game. Everything just switches when they win. It's annoying.
I mean, the Lakers do have Rajon Rondo, who came from the Celtics.
Is he actually playing? I thought he was hurt.
He was playing the other day when I was watching the game.
Oh, okay. I think he was hurt for earlier in the playoffs. I guess he's probably back now.
Yeah. So,
okay.
But I mean, he's a decent player. He's probably not as he's more probably of a support player now than what he was.
Oh yeah.
In Boston, but still, like there's still talent there, just not as name brand, if you want to call it, for the team.
Yeah, the guy there that was supposed to be their third was Kyle Kuzma, and he just hasn't progressed. He just hasn't taken a step up yet.
Right.
He'll have one good game every 3 or 4 games, and it's like, all right, that's the Kyle Kuzma we need. And he'll go back to just straight trash.
Right.
And that's kind of who they were hoping Lonzo Ball was going to be. He never progressed, so he went to New Orleans. I would assume Kyle Kuzma is going to be out the door here probably at the end of the season, especially if they don't win the championship. Kyle Kuzma is the next young player to get traded, and he might be part of that package to get Giannis.
Yeah.
They might not need to trade him. I don't know what the scenario is, but I would assume Kuzma's no longer going to be there.
Yeah.
Who do you have winning that series real quick? They play tonight at 9 for game 3. Do you have an opinion?
I think the Lakers are going to pull it. I think they're going to win it, but I would not be surprised if it goes to game 7. Like 3 and 4 here. Let's see what the Lakers do. I still think the Lakers are going to pull it out. They're like the third favorite, I think, to win the finals. So I'm going to take the Lakers on this one. I think they're still a talented team. The Rockets are they're gonna poke they're basically gonna poke the bear, and they're gonna get a couple jabs, but then the bear's gonna wake up and just take a swipe, and there goes the Rockets.
Just swipe them out. All right, get out of here. We got better things to do.
You know, like when the old dog's laying on the floor and the puppy's pouncing on it, and the old dog just kind of swats it away.
Leave me alone. It's just so hard to believe with the Rockets. James Harden, Russell Westbrook. It just seems like they should be great, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And then who will they play? The Clippers and the Nuggets. The Clippers did beat the Nuggets 113-107. Clippers lead the series 2-1 right now. And pretty much this entire series, Jamal Murray has been absent.
Yeah, I really think he is literally burned out.
He gave it all he had against the Jazz.
Yeah.
And he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's been all Jokic at this point. I mean, every time if they win, or even when they've lost, I go to look at the box score, and it's Jokic. It just is. And I go to find Murray, and he's dropping 8 of 20 for like 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not going to get it done, bud.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the repercussion I think we're looking at here with these games only a day apart. Even the changes in the series, they're a day apart and they're playing again. Like, I mean, besides the suspended games that happened 2 weekends ago, like that was a nice little break for them. But that's it's been kind of constant basketball here, day on, day off, day on, day off, and these guys they put up these huge points in these 7-game series going all the way to game 7. And I think this is where you're going to get the burnout. And I think that's probably what happened to the Raptors in game 5 against Boston, because they went so hard in 3 and 4, and that was a 2 game. So the third game, they're probably gassed out. And I think that's what's going to happen with the Nuggets, unfortunately. Like, I think it's a good story. I think Jamal Murray was like insanely good against the Jazz, and it really kind of brought this team to support him and kind of play better. But the Clippers are going to get it, and I just don't know how long the Nuggets are going to hold off.
They can't.
Right.
But that's the main thing with the Clippers. The Clippers have an on and off switch, and if it's in the off position, they can't find it until after the game when it's too late. And then they're like, crap, there's the switch. And then they turn it on for the next game, and they play really well. You don't know what team's going to come out of that locker room for that game.
Yeah.
And if Kawhi plays like the 2-time defensive player of the year that he is, if he comes out there, he had a 1-finger block on Jamal Murray. Yeah. Just stuck that finger up there, and if he turns it on, it's great. And this team as a whole is really, really good. But God, I know you're in a bubble. I know you're playing every other day, but you have to find that on switch before you go out into the floor. So, who do you have winning this series? You say Clippers?
I'm saying Clippers.
All right. So, Lakers, Clippers, it's what everyone has expected from virtually the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
It will be in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Well, at least as we say, it's not official yet.
Right.
And then one last piece of NBA news. Stephen A. Smith came out and said that the hiring of Steve Nash of the Nets head coaching position was white privilege.
Yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying.
Do you? 'Cause I don't.
I feel like I kind of get what he's saying.
There's a lot of white head coaches out there. There's also a lot of black head coaches. Are they all hired because of white privilege? I mean, where's this coming from? What is the reason for this?
He's probably just trying to get under everyone's skin. I mean, it's kind of, we didn't expect this to come out for the Nets. Like, all of a sudden, it was now Steve Nash as the head coach. Like, I didn't remember them saying they needed a head coach or they let the other guy go. Like, it wasn't like something that was surfaced until a decision was made. Like, I don't think the NBA has a Rooney rule for that situation like the NFL does, but I don't know. Like, I feel like we're in such a time of change, and I think Stephen A. Smith probably expected someone who is black to get hired for being a coach for them, to provide that more positive change, more equality. I get it. Stephen A. Smith's just trying to get under skins. It's what he does. He's a hype man. He just likes to yell all the time. And I still think it's a good hire. I think it's a good hire for Steve Nash. He's a smart guy who can coach these guys well. And yeah, I mean, I get what Stephen A. Smith's saying. I just don't always. I don't think I entirely agree with it, but I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, it was a really quiet hiring process as far as I can tell. Kind of like you said, because a couple of people threw out names as head coach, potential head coaches for the Nets, but the Nets never came out and said, "Yeah, we're like interviewing this person, this person, and this person."
Right.
We really didn't know anything about this, and then they came out and said, "Hey, it's Steve Nash." You're like, "Well, where the hell did Steve Nash come from in this process?" No one said anything about Steve Nash.
Yeah,
and I guess it's the surprise factor that might have got Stephen A. Smith off guard. He's like, "Oh, man, it's a white guy, and he's never coached before." Like, where was it was a white privilege hire when it came to Jason Kidd when he got hired as a head coach when he was never a head coach before? I mean,
yeah,
you can't just pick and choose, which ones are white privilege here. It's you have to be consistent with your message, and it makes you look like a donkey when you say stuff like that. And he's got to be like he's the highest paid talking head at ESPN. I'm pretty sure. When he made his contract, they had to fire a bunch of people just so they could pay him. I've hated Stephen A. Smith for a long time. That's the truth.
Oh, that's so bad. That's sad.
They paid Stephen A. Smith and several other top talking heads, and they laid off a ton of people at ESPN.
Oh,
that's a straight fact.
But I mean, that's the cutthroatness. That's the cutthroatness of it.
Yeah,
of that business. But I mean, that's still pretty sad.
Very sad. And it's not like Stephen A. Smith's not good at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate the way he does it and goes about it. And like you said, his job is for hot takes and to get under people's skin, and I hate it because that's not how we do it.
Right.
I don't like it, but it's the world we live in. So that's what's our score update as we leave.
Oh, let me
the NBA for now.
Pull up the score here. Oh, it is tied at 32.
Oh, all right. Heat making their comeback.
Yeah.
Well, at least they tied it up. All right. Major League Baseball. So Major League Baseball has taken a hit.
Yeah.
With these deaths because
they really have.
I don't remember how long ago it was. I'm assuming on Thursday you talked about the passing of Tom Terrific.
Yep.
Yeah, that was very sad. And now we have Hall of Famer Lou Brock. Cardinals base ceiling icon passed away on Sunday at the age of 81.
Mm-hmm.
When he retired in 1979, he had 3,023 hits, 149 homers, 900 RBIs, and a .293 career average, and is the single-season all-time leader in stolen bases with 938 stolen bases. That mark was surpassed by Rickey Henderson, and Brock was inducted in the Hall of Fame back in 1985. It's sad. And then Tom Seaver passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there was another death in there even too. I thought there was another one, but I don't know off the top of my head. People are just dying.
Yeah.
God.
This is the turnover. Like it's just. I mean, it is what it is. It's really, really sad. And yeah, we get these like bunches. It seems like every once in a while, like these famous people. It's like it's not always like one or two at a time. It's like a group of them. So
right.
it's weird.
That thing, like things come in threes.
Right.
Like bad news comes in threes, whatever the saying is.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was Major League Baseball's three. I think it was Tom Seaver, Lou Brock, and I could have swore there was another one, but it might have been another sport. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not remembering.
So,
but
rest in peace to all of them.
Yeah.
And as we talk about baseball happening right now, in 2020, the Mariners have won 6 in a row.
Nice. They're moving forward. There's a little bit of a streak there.
Yeah, their offense is going, their pitching's going.
Yeah.
And the team that is falling apart, which I believe they've lost, what? God, they've lost 14 out of their last 19 games. That's off the top of my head.
Ooh.
Pretty sure that's accurate, though. The Yankees.
Yeah.
Ooh. And
boy,
it just continues. Their entire team is on IR. Everyone's hurt. It was the same thing that happened last year. Everyone's hurt.
Yeah.
And the Yankees got beat by the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays scored 10 runs in the 6th inning, and the Yankees threw 67 pitches in that inning.
That's a lot.
Then they came out and said that the Blue Jays were sign stealing. They were just trying to make accusations because, God forbid, the Yankees are just bad at baseball for a couple of days. Someone has to be cheating to beat the Yankees. And I think that's the culture that has been created in New York. You know, the one that really got me mad, because this is the only reason I knew this was a thing with the Yankees, was when Andrew McCutchen went to the Yankees. And you always knew him because of his long dreads. I think he had like a goatee going. Like you knew who that was in the outfield because there's that hair making plays.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the Yankees and he has to shave and cut his hair because you have to be like virtually bald and no facial hair to play for the Yankees. That's like a rule.
That's a legit rule.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like just picture it. When's the last time you saw a Yankee go to the plate with that didn't have dreads, long hair, a beard? That's a rule.
Wow. Yeah.
That's obnoxious.
That's really obnoxious.
That's the Yankees saying, if you want to play for us, the best franchise in baseball history, although we haven't won jack in the 21st century, if you want to play for us, you have to cut your hair. You can't have a beard. That's the culture they've created, that they're the top of the world people. And when they go on a losing streak like this, someone has to be cheating. Oh, God, it's not just we suck.
It's literally a cult. It's a cult of a culture.
Kind of. Yeah. Pretty much. They're drinking Aaron Boone's Kool-Aid over there. And Cashman.
There you go.
I believe it's Cashman, right? He's the GM of the Yankees, if I'm not mistaken.
I think, yeah.
God, I hate the Yankees. I hate everything about the Yankees. And just to top it off, another reason I hate the Yankees is because every single time the Mariners have a good prospect, we trade them to the Yankees. The Yankees, it's like the Mariners have the Yankees on speed dial. As soon as we have a young rookie that has promise, Yankees, hey, he's batting .350 right now, and he's hit 6 home runs and has 23 RBIs. What do you want for him? Well, we can give you some cash considerations, some batting gloves, and some players later to be named that you'll never hear from again. Sold.
Right.
And the only reason I know this stuff is because I'm a Yankees fan and or a Mariners fan, and all the Mariners fans make the same jokes. We have a rookie right now in the name of Kyle Lewis, who is doing amazing. He's a really good young player, and every single time like a highlight of him shows up on the Mariners Facebook page, you go to the comment section, it's like, breaking news, Mariners just traded Kyle Lewis for Aaron Judge's batting gloves and cash considerations. Like,
oh, that's a big oof.
It's hard to be a Mariners fan.
Yeah.
Really.
I really didn't. I was looking at the standings earlier because I was like, I wonder where the Dodgers are. And the Dodgers are obviously top of the NL West, but I didn't know the Mariners were in the American League. For some reason I had in my head that they were the National League.
I think they used to be, and then they shifted the league around like a couple of, I don't know how long ago, like a long while, like a decade,
right?
A couple of decades maybe. And then I think they went to the AL after. I think they were in the NL before. Kind of just like how the Seahawks used to be in the AFC.
Yeah.
Now they're in the NFC.
Yeah. I don't know. Just like Mariners, Seahawks, I kind of think they figured they were in the same side.
Yeah. Well, thank God that they're in the AL because the funniest thing ever was watching the Mariners have to play like in the NL AL game, like one of those, what do they call them, the cross conference games. And then Felix Hernandez would have to go up there and bat. Oh my God, it was the funniest thing in the world. Because the King Felix, everyone always made fun of Bartolo Colon going up there trying to bat, and he hit a home run, and it was the biggest thing on the planet. Felix Hernandez was never a very fit person, and watching him try to swing a bat was the funniest thing in the world back in the day. And it never happened very often, but as soon as that opportunity arose, I was watching that game. I just want to see him hit the ball, or try to hit the ball, I should say. All righty. NHL time.
Yeah.
NHL time. Tampa Bay Lightning have unleashed their offense, and they beat the Islanders 8-2 in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's only a matter of time. We're just counting the days by.
just waiting.
Yeah.
Some people said, the Islanders practice squad just showed up. No, the Tampa Bay Lightning just showed up.
Right?
The Islanders did nothing wrong. They came to the game probably knowing themselves they're going to get friggin' slapped.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, the Dallas Stars beat the Golden Knights after a 1-0 victory. And he said Game 2's tonight.
Yep. And I watched Game 1 too, and that was rough to watch that because it was like the most back and forth ever. It looked so sloppy the entire game. But I mean, that could just be hockey. I don't watch hockey a lot, but it was like, I don't know. It was like Vegas just couldn't get anything going. It was just awful.
Well, I think I think I'm going to do another. This should be called its own little segment, stat off the top of my head that I've read about somewhere. But in the watch party, my good buddy David Saya, old Army bud in my unit, he says the Islanders are his team, and he says they're going to win it. Okay. I mean, confidence is key.
They definitely need to hopefully be restful when they come back for Tampa tomorrow, I'm assuming. But
my God.
Yeah.
Confidence is key. I'll say that. The Golden Knights, I believe from what I read, between their first two, their past some odd amount of games, I think in the last series, they scored 14 goals. And in the last maybe 2-3 games, they've only scored 4 goals. Their offense, virtually what the stat means is their offense is gone. It went somewhere.
Yep.
And they have not found it for a couple games now.
I mean, at least they have one of the greatest goaltenders, but still.
Who? Say his name.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
He's not even in the net. He's not in the net.
No,
they took him out of the net.
Oh, I thought he wasn't yesterday.
If they put him back in the net, I'm not sure. But they took him out of the net, and that is when he went on Twitter, probably because that's where everyone goes is Twitter, and he ranted about the organization taking him out of the net. And that's why people have speculated that Marc-Andre Fleury might be making his return to Pittsburgh next season because he's very upset with the organization. So we'll see where that goes. But the goaltending's not really the issue here.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
When you get beat 1-0, you don't look at your goalie.
No.
You don't look at your goalie and be like, all right, everyone else did their part and scored 0 goals. Why did you allow that 1 goal? What is your problem?
And to be fair with this, that 1 goal was literally the first shot.
Oh God! So he's just cold still. He was warming up.
Literally the first shot done. The rest of the game, nothing.
And here's my I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago with the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch a lot of it. I'll watch some playoff games and I'll definitely watch the finals. But hockey has turned into soccer. As much as people don't want to admit it, and people want to say that hockey is so much more fun and there's people getting hit. Most hits result in power plays because people get penalized these days, and you can't fight anymore. The whole thing about hockey and that a lot of the gung-ho, I like hockey, manly people is because they get to fight and beat each other up. No, you can't. You throw 2 fists and the refs are breaking it up. Hockey's just not what it used to be. And it's more like what you just got done saying. It was like a whole game. It was a whole entire match of nothing.
Yeah.
It's like soccer. It's virtually the same thing except on skates.
Yeah.
I believe that's all. Do you have winners here? I mean,
I think the Lightning, I think they win the East. I really think Dallas is on a roll here. Like they looked better than Vegas did 2 nights ago. So I'll take Tampa and Dallas to win each finals.
I'll agree with you, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because Tampa Bay is winning it all. Right?
Yeah, I feel like Tampa Bay was like literally like out of nowhere. They just like came in and like stunned the entire NHL nation. Like I didn't know much about them, but I don't follow hockey a ton, so like that's why we call it the other sports. I
think they've had a very good season. Like even the regular season before everything got shut down, like they've been a very dominant team and they've just shown up in the bubble, absolutely just killing everyone. But before this season, they've kind of just been there. One of those teams, It kind of would have been like if the Mariners showed up and just killed everyone,
Yeah.
Kind of like what we're looking at here. That's everything NHL. And then one more fun piece. Novak, what's your opinion on Djokovic? Novak Djokovic.
Yeah. Very unfortunate that happened. Probably should have been thinking a little bit more when he did that. And I fully support the default.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, it happened a while ago. If you don't know yet, you're not paying attention, but that's fine. Novak was defaulted / kicked out of the U.S. Open because out of anger, he was losing in the first set. He ended up smacking a tennis ball out of rage, just kind of like off to the side, but it ended up hitting a line judge in the throat.
Yeah, that's no fun.
I don't mean to laugh, but the video is kind of funny. It's not funny, but I think she's okay. From what I understand.
Yeah, I believe she's okay. Yes.
If you hit a ball out of anger, the rules clearly state, even if it's accidental, you just hit it. You have to know what the consequences are. Yep. If it just hits the wall, guess what? No one cares. But you have to understand when you do that, there's consequences to actions. And if you end up hitting someone, like if there was fans were in the stands, he hits a fan. One of the more famous situations of this happening was some random tennis player. Don't know his name.
I think of McEnroe.
Maybe. The one he hits the ball out of rage off to the side and ends up hitting the line judge in the eye socket and actually breaks his eye socket.
It would. I feel like McEnroe has a history like that. Like I've seen the screaming at the referees or the judges. He mentioned something about being like knowing the same situation that happened to Djokovic. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was McEnroe there.
The name rings a bell. I mean, I don't follow hockey. I don't follow tennis. But when I was watching from our hotel room, that name sounds familiar because they brought that situation up. It actually broke a guy's eye socket. So that's why, that's why they have the rule there to prevent people from, hey, don't hit the ball out of anger. I know you're just trying to hit it to the wall because you're mad, but guess what? There's people around you.
Yeah.
And you can't have people getting eye sockets broken or throats crushed.
Yeah.
David Saya comes in and he says Novak is a very emotional player, which I would tend to agree with. He needs to look more up than he needs to just have more control in class. And it's Novak and Nadal, from my understanding, leading the tennis world for the males.
I would say Federer's kind of he's like the he's like the Phil Mickelson of tennis. Like he's just been there a really long time. Like he can still play well, but like you can slowly see him fading from the spotlight a little bit, but he's still like super good. Yeah,
I just Novak is the tennis player that kids are looking up to.
Yep.
And it's in any sport, people get mad. But once you get mad and you bring harm to others, guess what? It's time to, you have to get your stuff together, get your emotions under control, like David said. So, hopefully he said, he tweeted it out, this is a learning experience. You'll learn from it. Hopefully we see a guy with more class. He pleaded with the officials, but once they said he was defaulted, he went and shook the guy's hand, and he didn't make himself available for the media and whatnot, but he made sure the woman was okay. He talked to her on the side, but you can't let that stuff happen.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the video of him like pleading with the judges and like the refs and like
which anyone would do.
But he wasn't like flipping out on him. Like he was just kind of like he was like just stating his case, but like he left with class. Like he knew he messed up and he moved on. Like he's gonna reflect on it, making sure the person's okay. But at the same time, like in-game emotions need to be a little bit more kept in check in this kind of situation.
Yeah, for sure. And like we said, hopefully he learns from it, and hopefully the kids that watch him and try to be like him have learned it as well.
Yeah.
Because hopefully these kids now seeing their number one tennis star in the world get defaulted from a U.S. Open, a Grand Slam tournament, kind of his Grand Slam opportunity is gone. Everyone's learned a lesson here, hopefully. So it's kind of like looking at the silver lining, if you want to, with the situation. So I believe that's all we have for other sports. So we're going to move on to the NFL, and there's NFL football this week.
Oh yeah.
And I believe it's NFL football with fans too, because it's going to be Kansas City and they're allowing a couple thousand. So they're leaving me fans in the stands. This is very exciting stuff.
Oh, yeah.
How much you want to bet the Chiefs only allowed fans because, one, they won the Super Bowl, and two, they're opening up the season? That's the only reason they allowed fans.
Probably, yeah.
I would imagine that's the only reason they said they were going to do it. But let's see here. First on the docket, it was cut day last week. So all 32 teams have their 53-man rosters in place, and due to the expanded practice squad limits, the majority of the teams were able to put most players cut on the practice squad, which is true because I almost started crying because Shaquem Griffin, the one-handed beast, was cut from the Seahawks, but he cleared waivers and made it back to the Seahawks practice squad. Thank God.
Very nice.
I would have been very upset if he signed somewhere else. I'm surprised he didn't. Let's not sit here and act like I'm a Seahawks fan. I'm probably the only one. Like, Seahawks fans are the only one that actually probably watched him play football. But in his very limited snaps that the Seahawks gave him, he made an impact.
Right.
He's a very fast person on the edge. If he gets squared up, if an offensive lineman squares him up, he's not doing anything. And that happened a few times. He has one move. He has a swim move. He gets to the outside, and he's a fast guy.
Yeah.
But I guess it wasn't enough to keep him on the active roster. But he is on the Seahawks still.
Nice.
Other practice squad news. Josh Rosen went from the Bucks or went to the Bucks practice squad, so he's going to learn under Tommy Boy. And how much interaction is there between a starting quarterback and the practice squad quarterback? Being completely honest here, not even joking. How much interaction is there, honestly? Because Tom Brady, like Aaron Rodgers, is going to communicate with Jordan Love a lot because he's his backup. But you never really hear about like Tom Brady or whoever. Russell Wilson's not going to go talk to Danny Etling on the practice squad. I don't know how often that happens.
Right. I mean, you don't know how much that quarterback is in the quarterback room. Like, technically they're on the team, but they're like the practice squad players. So like they're supposed to be learning the opponent's stuff to be able to simulate stuff for like the starting lineups. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know how much really interaction they're gonna have, but you never know. Papa Brady might be like, "Come over here, Joshy boy. Let me show you a thing or two." So
everyone's been pleading for just give Josh Rosen an offensive line, give him a decent team because he's been been screwed this entire NFL career. So if maybe this happens, maybe Josh Rosen learns in Tampa Bay from Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, and then Tom Brady retires after his 2-year contract, and Josh Rosen can take over this team. Imagine that story. That would be cool. But I guess he's just got to prove himself in practice first.
Yeah, I'm so incredibly relieved the Bills didn't draft him.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's the Josh that our good friend Eric wanted in Buffalo.
And I said, nope, they need Josh Allen, because if they would have drafted Josh Rosen, I guarantee it McDermott doesn't get a contract extension, and we're talking about McDermott leaving. It would have been another coach that would have been there 2 or 3 years and out.
Stephon Diggs wouldn't have wanted to come to Buffalo.
Yeah.
None of this would have happened.
Yeah.
It's fun to think about that. Where would the Seahawks be without Russell Wilson drafting him in the 3rd round? That's scary to think about.
Yeah. I mean, you wonder what first-round quarterback they would have reached for. If they weren't.
Who were the quarterbacks in that draft? Was that Deshaun Watson's year? No, that was way after.
Yeah, Wilson was 2012 with Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
So 2013 would have been Geno Smith and EJ Emanuel.
Oh God. Whew.
There's another one there, but I'm blanking on the name.
EJ Manuel.
Yeah.
Hey, Geno Smith is with the Seahawks. He's our backup. Yeah. So everything comes full circle, baby. Everything comes full circle.
There you
go. And Josh McCown also. Oldest player to ever be put on a practice squad at 41 years old. Wow. He's not even with the team.
No,
he's just sitting at his home in Texas collecting a $12,000 check every week.
Yep. He's literally the emergency quarterback.
Bruh. That's
how you have it made.
That's probably the most upsetting thing I've ever heard in my life. He's just sitting at home and a check shows up. Oh my God. That's depressing.
Yeah.
Any other practice squad news? Anyone you're super happy to have on your practice squad in Buffalo?
Not really. I mean, I'm a little surprised that we didn't retain Albert Foster, but I fully understand why we didn't retain him.
He didn't even clear waivers.
No, Green Bay.
That's why you couldn't bring him back. Yeah.
Yeah, Green
Bay.
But
you guys took Green Bay's wide receiver.
Yes, I just saw that this afternoon that we assigned. I don't want to even say his name because I'll mess it up.
I have no idea what it is. I might have it in my notifications still.
I think I cleared it.
They got Jake Kumaro.
Yes, but he was the one that was a surprise cut for the Packers. So
yeah.
I mean, the Bills have a loaded wide receiver room, but the more the merrier.
Yeah, you can't really be unhappy with what you have going on. Like, why wouldn't you want more good wide receivers, especially in a year like this? This is why the practice squads are expanding. You guys get COVID, you bring up Kumaro. That's a great guy to bring up.
Oh, yeah.
So this one, a lot of controversy here. Adrian Peterson. He was released from the Washington football team, but barely made it 24 hours, where the Detroit Lions signed him. I don't. I got a lot of hate because I tried defending it. You know, I said AP. Well, I called him AD in my Instagram post, and guy was like, "It's AP, not AD." And I said, "Hey, dummy, you don't know what football is." Called him out, but he's there to teach Kerryon Johnson and DeAndre Swift the way of the NFL. Yeah. He's going to teach them defenses. He's seen everything. Yeah. But the argument is Adrian Peterson's still chasing glory. He still wants to be that 1,000-yard rusher. He still wants to be the number one rushing champion in the league. He wants those goals still. It's just a weird spot because I feel like he's there to teach them, but I feel like he wouldn't have gone there if that is what the team told him his role was going to be. Because if he still wants his carries, he still wants like 100 plus carries a season and still wants to go for 1,000-yard season, then this is a bad spot for him. This is a bad spot for Kerryon Johnson. This is a bad spot for DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I think he'll be lucky to see 50 touches. But if he went into that meeting with the Lions and they said, "Hey, we'll give you the ball as much as you want," then this is bad. It was bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have that motivation, but at the same time, how long has he been with the league? It feels like forever.
Yeah. I don't even know how many years.
13, maybe 14 years. I want to say.
I would say.
I mean, if it's a support role in Detroit, which we don't know because we don't know what the conversation was in that meeting that he signed with them. But, yeah, I mean, I like the support role there for him, especially for Kerryon Johnson. I mean, maybe the Lions they're seeing a pattern here with Kerryon Johnson getting hurt in the season, and then you don't want to be short players or you don't want to be short depth at that position. And I think Adrian Peterson's a great guy to have sitting there waiting. But I mean, I'd be really curious to see where he ends up week 1 at the end of the week here. Whether or not
I'm gonna have to check the depth chart. That's what I want to know. I want to know where he is on the depth chart. I'm assuming he got pushed to the back, but I just have, because if he doesn't get his carries, and that's why he wants to be there, he wants to get his 100 carries, he wants to get his 1,000 yards, but he doesn't get that volume. Yeah, then he just gets mad and he becomes more of a problem than he does an addition.
Right.
That's what I don't want to see happen. And Kerryon Johnson was on my fantasy team last year. He was crushing it. Then you bring in DeAndre Swift. He's a beast. I just think it could get ugly quick.
Right.
But if he's there and he understands his role, then this is great. It could go either way at this point. And I'm just hanging on to see what happens. Jadeveon Clowney finally found a home. We've been talking about Clowney the entire offseason. Well, at least, sports media has been talking about Clowney the entire offseason. Where's he going to go? What's going to happen? Oh, we're so excited. Is he going to – he signs with Tennessee and no one cares.
Yeah.
He's a 1-year deal for what, like $14 or $15 million?
I think it was something like that, yeah. And I mean, like Tennessee was rumored the entire offseason of where he was going to go, and then he just waits till now to finally get on the team. Like, he could have had months of learning the playbook with them, like learning their schemes, and it didn't work out. Like, he's now joining now, like he's behind the 8 ball. Like, yes, he's going to be playing with Mike Vrabel again, who he played with as a defensive coordinator for Houston. So there's probably some similarity there, but I still think he wasted too much time in order to get this deal done.
Yeah, he wanted his money. And I know Wayne over Infinity Sports said, someone reportedly offered him 4 years, $80 million. That didn't happen. I can 100% guarantee you that never happened. I don't care who reported it, but the actual report that came out said the Saints were really close to signing him, but the only reason they didn't sign him is because virtually it got shut down. The Saints wanted the Browns to to sign Clowney to a 1-year deal for whatever amount, $15-16 million. And then the Saints would have traded for Clowney and given the Browns a couple of draft picks for him. That's some sketchy stuff.
It's some sketchy stuff.
That got shut down pretty quick. That was the kind of desperation push the Saints were trying to make that kept getting reported. Like, the Saints are really close, but they're making it's between the Saints and Titans. Like, the Titans were like, here's your money.
Right.
You know, that was going to be it the whole time. It was just a matter if the Saints were going to get this vetoed or not, and it got vetoed hard. Because you can't be on the phone with another team just being like, hey, if you pick that guy up, we got you, man. We'll give you like a first rounder for it. Like, no. That's not how this works. No. But the Saints have been known to break a couple rules here and there, so let's not be too surprised, I guess. But Clowney's with the Titans now. Titans will miss the playoffs. If you want a hot take to take away from this episode, there you go. But I've been saying that for a while now. The Titans, Derrick Henry will go back to his normal, not very good at football form. Ryan Tannehill will struggle without the run game. There you go. Like 8-8 at best.
Sounds good to me.
Marcus Mariota. This is depressing.
Yeah.
Been placed on IR with a pec strain. He's going to miss at least 3 weeks. Nathan Peterman was given a 1-year, $1 million deal. God, I hate Nathan Peterman with all my heart. He is now the backup to Derek Carr, and they also got Deshaun Kaiser on the practice squad. Nathan Peterman has to be one of the worst quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL, and he's still on an active roster.
Yeah. He's
not even on the practice squad. He's on an active roster. Nathan Peterman made $1 million to be on an active roster in the NFL. Do we not remember what he did in the playoffs when he had to take over for Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah.
Pick six, interception. He threw like 5 passes.
Yeah, it was bad. Whoa. I mean, maybe it's Jay Gruden, or not Jay Gruden, John Gruden. Wrong one. Maybe he's got a thing for him. Like Mike Mayock has a thing for Marcus Mariota,
and he's crying in the corner too. You know, that meme with Wolverine with the picture frame.
Yep.
Like, you put Mike Mayock's face on the Wolverine and Marcus Mariota in the picture. That's what you got right there. He loves him, but man, God, I thought Marcus Mariota was going to start this season. I really thought he was going to beat out Derek Carr, but ever since he was benched, not even benched, he took himself out of the game in Tennessee. Ever since that moment, he's just, I don't even know if he wants to be in the NFL at this point. He just seems to not be the same person. It's weird. Oh, let's see here. Something that the Cleveland Browns did do. They signed Kareem Hunt to a 2-year extension worth $13.25 million, $8.5 million guaranteed. So it's a good signing. I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
I just want to see the Nick Chubb Kareem Hunt combo actually work this season.
Right.
Now, it's supposed to be this massive 1-2 punch, and it failed with Freddie Kitchens. That's not surprising. Right. Freddie Kitchens was a terrible idea. Now they have an offensive-minded coach at the helm. Let's see it actually happen this year, because you can still have both on the field. Put them both in the backfield. Put Kareem in the slot. You can do so much with them. They are so great, amazing running back duo. We just need to see it happen, and I think it will.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Speaking of 2 years extension, Odell Beckham, the number 2 wide receiver of the Cleveland Browns. Reports have come out. That Odell Beckham Jr. allegedly likes a little bit of stank with his nighttime routines.
Oh boy,
this is 100% fake. I can almost smell it. Yeah, you know, I can almost smell the fake news coming out of this. It's just this stupid podcast ran by some, we'll call them women because we'll be polite. And they, like, a couple of episodes ago, they had some lady on who said that she pretty much did the entire Phoenix Suns team in the bubble, which is 100% probably fake since no one was allowed in the bubble at that point. And now this new lady comes on and says that Odell Beckham Jr. likes to be number 2'd during his fun time.
That's no. I don't know. That's just that's not my no.
Apparently, after the one with the Phoenix Suns, that episode came out, they made like $100,000 in 2 days because that news was so massive. They got so many clicks on that. They made 6 figures. So they're just bringing in any single person that's had sex with if they've had sex with an athlete, come on and just make something up. It's going to get us a bunch of clicks, a bunch of money. Who cares if it's fake? That's what we're doing now. That's welcome to the world. This is what the hot take media has created. Mm-hmm. Instead of reporting things, they just create things. And now we have people like whoever these women are, and this is what we get now. Welcome to the podcasting world. Except that on and out the field.
Oh, we're here to give you the good news. The correct news.
The correct news in a hopefully fun way.
Yeah.
It's fun and with opinions too.
Yeah.
That's the main part. We give you the news and then some relevant opinions with actually people that know what they're talking about, at least when it comes to the NFL. When it comes to the other sports, it's a lot of guessing. The Arizona Cardinals have agreed to terms with DeAndre Hopkins, 2-year extension worth $54.5 million in new money. The new deal amounts to $27.25 million per year. So he's basically, I think he was tied to the organization for the next 5 years for $94 million. That's 5 years of Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins. Larry Fitzgerald will be there for at least this year. Who knows what after? But then Christian Kirk.
Kenyon Drake.
Let's go.
Yeah.
God, I hate that it's in the Seahawks division, but that's gonna be so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
A team that it can actually be put together, unlike the Texans, because Bill O'Brien's in the way. These guys could do anything they want.
Yeah.
The offensive line has its problems. The defense has a couple holes. Mm-hmm. But overall, the Cardinals will do better than the San Francisco 49ers this season.
Wow. Interesting. All right. I mean, I see why. I see what your point. I can see what your points are. Yeah, it'll be a very interesting division this year.
I have no reason to believe the 49ers will be successful this year. I have no reason to believe that.
They lost a lot of good pieces, and they got pieces that are injured, and they could just be that. They could be like with how the Panthers were after the 2015 season when Cam won MVP and when they went to the Super Bowl. Like they just don't recover. They just they stay in that mid level, and then there's this giant tanking season.
I don't know if they're definitely not going to intentionally tank. I know what you're saying. I just want to make that clear to everyone. Yeah. but Deebo Samuel has a nasty injury that's going to nag him all season. It's an injury it's an ankle injury, a foot injury that wide receivers struggle with. They've lost their rookie wide receiver that everyone said, well, we don't need Emmanuel Sanders. We have whoever the guy they drafted is. Well, he got injured too. He was out for a couple of weeks. I think he's back practicing, but still an injury. They lost Hurd. They lost everyone. It seems like every wide receiver on their roster got hurt at some point. Some of them more minor than others, but still. You have George Kittle. Congratulations. They lost Matt Breida in free agency. So they still have Mostert, and I always forget the other guy's name.
Tevin Coleman.
And then they also have Jerick McKinnon, who was injured down their playoff stretch last year as well. Mm-hmm. In the defense, you lost to Forrest Buckner. You replaced him with another interior defensive lineman, but guess what? Interior defensive linemen do not make impacts in year one. That's a fact.
Yep.
They are lucky to get more than 6 sacks, and you're not replacing DeForest Buckner's production. You're just not.
Right.
Richard Sherman is your number one cornerback, and he's aging.
Yeah.
They have a great linebacking core, and they have Nick Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
There's your defense. I have a lot of concerns. I have a lot more concerns, and I have reasons to believe that they'll be good at football. So I'm going to say the Cardinals have a better season than the 49ers.
Okay.
All right.
I see what you're saying there. But
and the Rams are just wherever. They're just off doing their own thing. They suck.
We do have a little breaking news here.
Let me. We'll get breaking news music once we have our roadcast.
There you go. Von Miller was hurt at practice today.
Von.
And, yeah, he will. He's scheduled to undergo an MRI exam after suffering a serious lower leg injury during practice.
Well, there goes the Broncos season.
Yeah, that's not good.
Why didn't I see that?
I don't know. It came across my phone, so I figured we might as well break it now.
Yeah, I don't have that. I didn't get that update.
Oh, man.
Stupid phone. Interesting. Wow, Von Miller. That's interesting.
Yeah.
They do have Bradley Chubb still. He had an injury last year, though.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, oh boy. This was supposed to be the Broncos defense returning this year. Another year under Vic Fangio. Because the defense seemed lost last year under the defense. It was a new defense.
Mm-hmm.
This was supposed to be either they turn it back on and then the offense can do its thing with all of its rookies. That's bad.
That's real bad, yeah.
People forget how dominant Von Miller at least was. He had one bad season, and everyone's like, who's Von Miller? Von Miller was dominating the league off the edge for years.
I feel like he lost support on that defense, so like that's why he had a bad season. But, I mean, if the Broncos build the team right, he can get back to that top form.
Not this year, no.
Well, yeah, not this year.
That sucks. All right. Yeah. I guess there's one last piece of NFL news that we have down on the docket is Colin Kaepernick is back in Madden. Madden 21. They have added Colin Kaepernick in. The first time since 2016. I believe his overall rating was at 81.
Okay.
Let's see what they said here. Colin Kaepernick is one of the top free agents in football and a starting caliber quarterback. We've had a long relationship with Colin through Madden NFL and worked through our past soundtrack mistakes. Knowing that our EA Sports experiences are platforms for players to create, we want to make Madden NFL a place that reflects Colin's position and talent, rates him as a starting quarterback, and empowers our fans to express their hopes and future for football. Where we've worked with Colin to make this possible, and we're excited to bring it to you all today. Kaepernick's character model will also represent his updated appearance and off-field activism for the last 4 years. His virtual player will sport his trademark afro for the first time after previously featuring cornrows in his headshot.
I mean, good to have him back, but 81... Is it really a starting quarterback rating there? I don't know.
I mean, it's low end. And I have more of a problem with the fact that they think he is a starting quarterback caliber player.
Right.
This is after reports came out yesterday, I believe, saying that basically all the interest from NFL teams after, there was a lot of push to get him signed to an NFL team from Roger Goodell, it was all fake. It was everyone that said anything nice about Colin Kaepernick was like, really, they were just putting on a show. He is not an NFL starting quarterback. He has not played in the league for 4 years. This is the reality of the situation. Yeah. I respect what Colin Kaepernick did on the field. I respect, I have a little bit of not respect for some of the things he did. He took some of it a little bit too far, but for the chance that he took and taking a knee and some of the stuff he's done off the field, I appreciate him. But from a football standpoint, he is not an 81. He is not a starting quarterback. and I don't think he should be in the game. I realize EA is making a stance here, saying we want him in the game because of the stance he's taken. It's a good look because he should be. They think he should be in the league. Right. And this is a great role model for kids. And it's like, well, we're going to put him in our game because you can say and do whatever you want. Like you can protest and do all these things and still make it or however you want. I get it, but I don't agree with the move personally.
It's an odd move, just the fact that he's not even in the league at all. It's kind of saying, oh, we want Peyton Manning to be in the league in the game, even though he hasn't been in the league for 5 or so years. It's been a while. I get what they're trying to make amends here with the situation that happened in the last 3 or 4 years with Madden, but I don't know. It's it's news for Madden to try to make a change. I would have rather seen him been on a team before they added him back into Madden. I know it's the Dynasty franchise mode or something. You can add him to your team, or even I think in Play Now you can add him. I don't know. I haven't played Madden. I can't tell you how long, but
yeah, that's probably that's a bigger concern with Madden for me. How about you go and just try and make a better game first?
Yeah,
I used to play it back in the day, but I stopped playing it because they just kept producing the same game over and over again, and it got boring.
Right.
So maybe instead of trying to make these leaps like this, just try and make the game a little more fun.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion, but maybe. So yeah, I like your point there. Just because Peyton Manning's not in the league anymore, well, you can't just be like, well, I want Peyton Manning in the league, so let's put him in our game. It's not how it works. So that's it for NFL news, at least, off the top of our heads. That's what we have down. If we miss something, we apologize. We're not perfect. Let's get an update on that Heat
and
game.
Bucks.
Heat and Bucks before we move on to our main segment.
Oh, let's see here. Oh, the Heat are up 57-56.
Wow, still a close game.
It's a close game right now.
All right, in the third quarter, low scoring as well.
It is really low for the third quarter. Wow, we could be looking at a 82-79 kind of game here. Yeah,
definitely different than we've seen out of other teams and other games. Wow, okay. Very interesting. All right, so our main segment is going to be kind of like a mini power rankings since the season is coming up. This is basically the layout for this show moving forward for the NFL season. Thursdays will be, kind of like game picks for this, because there's going to be Thursday Night Football. We'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about the games for that week. And then Tuesday, we'll be recapping what we missed or what happened during the games. And that's basically going to be what we're going to be doing. And it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully you have a lot of guests. We can get their picks. It's going to be a blast.
Oh, yeah.
So we can't wait for that. But since this is our last show before the season begins, we're doing a mini power rankings, top 5 and bottom 5. We think, at least I do. I don't know what your opinions are. I know everyone knows my opinion. Power rankings are stupid.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about who's tanking or who's the worst, talk about your bottom 5 and who has the biggest chance to compete, your top 5. That's what's important. Everyone in the middle, from week to week, can be like, well, these guys are number 7, and then they lose. And it's like, oh, now they're number 8. Cool. Thanks for the update, bud. So we're doing a top 5, bottom 5, and from what I've seen, our top 5 is very different.
A little bit, yeah.
It's not. I guess it's not terribly different, but it's different, and I can't wait to hear it. So my top 5, I have the Chiefs at number 1, pretty much a given. I have the Ravens at number 2 because they're the Ravens. I mean, unless something crazy happens this year where everyone watched that Tennessee game and Lamar Jackson forgot how to play football, they're still number 2. What happens when they hit the playoffs is a different story.
Right.
and I have the Saints at number 3. There has to be a lot of motivation there. Drew Brees is winding down.
Oh, yeah.
This could be his last year, or if he's lucky, second to last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be time to move forward here soon. Because if they don't win a Super Bowl, or at least make a very deep push into the playoffs, Drew Brees is gone 100%. So I feel like this is a motivated Saints team ready to win.
Yeah.
And then I actually put the Bucs in here. I didn't want to because I'm a very firm believer in I have to see it first. It's a brand new team right now.
Mm-hmm.
But after getting Fournette, I had to put him in the top 5. I really did, because now they have 2 solid running backs. Not solid, 2 very good running backs. They have tight ends that can block. They have wide receivers up the yazoo. Their defense, at least the front 7, is very good. Their offensive line is minorly improved. It's just their secondary that I have worries about. But they have enough offense to have a shootout with anyone.
Yeah.
I think they can crack the top 5, and I'll live with that. And then I actually put the Seahawks at number 5. I have many hopes and desires that the hashtag Let Russ Cook movement has made an influence on the Seahawks offense in Brian Schottenheimer's eyes and Pete Carroll's eyes, and Russell Wilson will be allowed to throw the ball 30 times a game. That's my hope.
Yeah.
It probably won't happen, but Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf could both easily be 1,000-yard receivers if they let Russ cook. Philip Dorsett, they re-signed Josh Gordon. We're just waiting for his reinstatement, which Randy Gregory for the Cowboys was reinstated. So if Josh Gordon doesn't get reinstated, I will throw a fit, just so you know. Because Randy Gregory was, if go Google his NFL history, it's much worse than Josh Gordon smoking some weed.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting for that. The wide receivers are there. And then Chris Carson, we have Carlos Hyde. A lot of praise for DJ Dallas, our rookie. I'm ready for this offense to explode. Everything is there. They just need to do it. So, all right, let's hear your top 5, Fred.
All right. I mean, I agree with you at number 1 with the Chiefs. And that's probably about all we're going to agree on the rest of the top 5 here.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the 49ers here not being as good, but I still see them as number 2 currently. Starting the season, we'll see how it plays out later. So
you just straight up disagree with me on the 49ers entirely. That's fine. You can disagree with me.
This was my list before we had our conversation earlier. Oh, okay. I still think I'm still sticking to my list here a little bit.
All right, a little bit. All right.
So 49ers at 2. I still think that defense is probably still better than most defensive schemes and for teams. So 2. And that's where I found the Ravens at 3. You can flip-flop it. I still think Ravens have some growing to do and getting out of the regular season and being able to win in the postseason is probably their next step. I still think they're a good, talented team. They'll obviously they'll be aiming for that bye week at the end of the year with the expanded playoffs that are coming this year. And so they're at 3. You had the Saints at 3. I have them at 4.
Just push my other ones down because of the 49ers.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it kind of push the 49ers in and slide everyone down. Saints at 4, like you said, like there's motivation there. I think there's motivation there. I mean, Drew Brees is 20th season now. Like, he's probably looking at the door saying, "It's about that time. All right, guys, let's get it done." It's kind of like that situation where like you have someone talking to you and they just don't stop talking. And closer to the door, and they just keep talking, and you're like, all right, I gotta go. Yeah, I've been here for an extra hour. I gotta go. And then you're like, you run out the door. Like, I feel like this is what Drew Brees is doing right now with the Saints. Like, yes, he wants to be there to help and like win. At the same time, he's like, I gotta go. Like, it's clock's ticking.
he can only be stuck with that in that situation for so much longer. With just one Super Bowl in 20 years with all the talent they've had come in and out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. It's got to be time.
Oh yeah, so I have Saints at 4, and then probably a little hometown hero here. I put the Bills at 5. I just think they have the talent though. That's the problem. Like they don't get enough credit for the talent that's in that building, the amount of talent they've retained, and the amount of talent they've drafted. Like the talent that's there to continue to grow this team is insane. Like they could have won that wild card game. They are nothing. They're looking for more than that this year, obviously. And it's a good goal to have. And I still think they're top 5. I think the defense carries them as being a top 3 defense. The offense, I think, makes strides this year. So that's why I have them in my top 5.
Yeah, that defense is, I'm going to say top 3 at least.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at top 3 because the run defense leaves something to be desired. At least it did last year.
I completely agree with you.
But kind of like the same situation as the Seahawks. That offense has so much potential.
Yeah.
The play at quarterback's a little worse, but the potential is there for that offense to explode whenever Josh Allen wants it to. The boys in Strikeout Beer came and said hi. They also said they shared it to a couple different groups because they're the best. Because these guys we love everything about them.
Yeah, great show over there. Make sure you guys check it out.
Yeah, Strikeout Beer, love them. I think they're pretty much live Wednesdays. I think starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and they just go all night. They do Strikeout Beer, and they do their late night beer review, and then they just keep going. They just talk all Wednesday night. So if you're bored on a Wednesday, Strikeout Beer is your guy. So let's do our bottom 5.
All right.
This is fun. I think bottom 5 is a fun thing.
Yeah.
Let's see who really sucks. So basically this is 32, 31, 30, 29, 28. So in 28th, I have the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They have Christian McCaffrey, Teddy Bridgewater's there. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It ends there. Everyone wants the Panthers to be good. Yeah, Strikeout Beer likes to party, baby. And I like to party with them for as long as I can, but normally I have to go to bed eventually. They don't. I love sleep. Everyone wants the Panthers to be good. Everybody wants Matt Rule to have a successful team over there in Carolina. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants Teddy Bridgewater to be amazing.
Yeah.
The pieces just aren't there.
They're growing still.
It's going to take – Matt Rule had a 7-year deal. Let's be patient here, and he's going to be patient too. This year, not going to be good. I just want to see Christian McCaffrey get his yards because let's just keep that historic train rolling.
Yep.
Then I have the Bengals at 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kind of the same scenario. Everyone knows the Bengals are going to be bad, but you want them to be better than they probably are going to be. Everyone's rooting for A.J. Green to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants Joe Burrow to show up and be amazing.
Right.
Everything ends there. I think that's the similarity between the Panthers and the Bengals. They're young. Mm-hmm. They're kind of a new team. The nucleus is there. And now we just got to wait for them to grow. It's going to take a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then I have the Jets, 30th. That's a team that was supposed to be young and growing. Mm-hmm. And God, that team is depressing. I went to Sonic to get my car washed and detailed and everything. And I was wearing my Seahawks mask.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy comes up to the window. You know, he's like, hey, blah, blah, blah. So all these things that they do at Sonic. And he goes, your team took my favorite player. And I was like, immediately. I was like, Jamal Adams? He's like, yeah. Sorry about that. But not really. But, he's like, I asked him a couple of questions about the Jets, like his opinions where things have gone. He just hates everything. And I think that's, even if you're not a fan of the team, even from someone outside looking in, everything has gone wrong. Yeah. Le'Veon Bell was supposed to come in here and just be the catalyst for this offense.
Yeah.
And it's just not happened. They had a great Leonard. God, Leonard, the defensive lineman. He was supposed to be the catalyst for that defense, and now I think he's with the Giants.
Yeah.
Everything's just falling apart for the Jets, and I don't even know. I don't think they have a path. I don't think that organization even knows where they're going. 31st, kind of the same scenario. They deserve to be 32nd, but just talent-wise, Washington is 31.
Yeah.
Hopefully Dan Snyder will be out the door very soon after this investigation concludes. And then Ron Rivera and whoever the new ownership is can move forward. Dwayne Haskins, Alex Smith, whoever is going to be in charge of that offense, and they can just move forward.
Yeah.
Because it's just ugly right now. And then the Jaguars at 32.
Yeah.
All hail the Jockstrap King. I couldn't name any other players on that team. So so let's hear your bottom five.
All right. So I actually had the Bengals at 28. Basically similar to what you said, young core group. It's a rebuilding team. They got a ways to go. 29th, I actually have the Jets. Yeah, that's a team that everyone has praised the potential for that team, and that team has done nothing but let every single person down. Like there's just no there. They you say jump and they say fall.
Do something. No.
Yeah, that's basically the Jets there in a nutshell. I had Washington at 30. A little higher up than you had them at 31. I think there's a good foundation there with Ron Rivera. I think the team has talent growing. They probably still need to figure out their quarterback situation. I am not a huge fan of Haskins, but they have better talent at that position than the next team I'm about to talk about. And that is at 31.
This shocked me a little bit, not going to lie.
The Chicago Bears. Did you hear Matt Nagy's conference or speech the other day about Mitchell Trubisky winning the job? And he was basically saying, "Yep, there's a great storyline here. Mitchell Trubisky, he has the potential. There's a great storyline for this season. Yep, we'll see if it happens." What? There's no confidence in your quarterback, and you named him the Week 1 starter?
You know, if he does good, he'll make a great story. If not, bam. Oh well, guess we lose again.
What in the world is going on here with the Bears? Like, are they even trying? Like, come on, Matt Nagy, you're supposed to be like a quarterback whisperer, an offensive guru, and you come to the Bears and just like let the team just like literally fall into a dumpster fire.
I don't know why you bring in Nick Foles for $21 million and not start him. That's my only question. I don't know how you, as a team, can literally take that contract and just not play him. It just mind-boggling.
Yeah, and the fact that Nick Foles is making that much money still is mind-boggling. Like, that Super Bowl win is going to carry him for years to come still.
Well, yeah, the Jaguars paid him that much to be a starting quarterback. You know? Like that's what he was brought in to do. And then he got hurt, and then he was just not the same when he came back. So Gardner Minshew to finish the rest of the season, and then they had, he's going to carry that contract with him at least for another season, and the Bears just have to eat it. But I don't understand why you're going to eat that contract and not have him play.
Right.
That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. So that's why they are 31, and I agree with you at 32. The giant dumpster fire that the Jockstrap King is just sitting there roasting marshmallows on is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At least he's making the most of it, He did the Bud Light thing with the fantasy football drafts.
He did the NFL It's All Coming Back to Me commercial. Have you seen that one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. But have him in there, that was good. He's definitely like young quarterback, just having fun, making the most of everything.
He knows he's on a crappy team. He knows it's going to be a long season. He's just having fun.
Yep.
And I hope he goes out there and plays amazing. I hope the Jaguars go 0-16, but I hope Gardner Minshew is like in the MVP running for his numbers. That's all I care about.
That would be awesome.
God, it's depressing. It's depressing to see young talent and fun people just get wasted. Because I don't want to see Gardner Minshew like lose his spirit. Because they go 0-16 and then Minshew's no longer Minshew because now he's like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that happen. Right. Hopefully he can keep a positive attitude through it all. Godspeed. We're with you as always. All hail the Jockstrap King. But that's our show. Mm-hmm. Unless Derf, you have something else that you would like to bring up, or forever hold your peace, or at least until Thursday.
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Yeah, Thursday's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for it because I wanted to do it this show because I was so excited for it. It was like look into like week 1's games in detail. Oh, we have to wait till Thursday to do it. But I'm super excited. Cannot wait. And I hope you all come and join us for that. Going to be a great show, as always. So, Fred, give these people a piece of advice, would you?
Protect your nuts.